It's really important you do that as quickly as possible and as safely as possible. If there's a car coming at you, the cone is not worth your life. It's a very important thing. Stay by the light post. They'll stop a car. You won't. Hang out by them. It's just the way it is. If you see a cone get hit, you want to run out as quickly as possible, pick it up, and put it back in its box. Again, there should be a green mark around it, a green box. If you see a cone wiggle, you still want to go out and check it, because this sitting outside the box is a lot different than if it's sitting inside it. We're trying to get as close to majority of the cones as possible. If it's out just a little bit, it's going to cost someone time. It makes a difference. Penalties. If you knock over a cone, we call that a +1. That's a 2-second penalty when you're racing. If you hit a cone and knock it out of the box and it's still standing, that's a +1. If you hit it and any part of it is still in that box and it's standing up, thank the autocross gods, that is not a penalty. So that is not a penalty. Anything, as long as part of it is still in the box, that is not a penalty. If it's standing straight up, if it's knocked over and still in the box, that's done. It's +1. It's going to be your jobs to report to your captains at your station whether it's in or not. So if it looks like it's marginal, you can kind of give them a no. It's, you know, it didn't. It's still up. It's still good. Figure out a signal. It's going to be up to you guys, because you're going to give them the signal and they're going to call it in. These cones, the pointer cones, they don't matter. If someone knocks both of these out, the standing cones are what give you the penalty. So if they knock both of those out, you got to set them back up, but it still counts as a +1. And again, some of you are still rather new. These cones tell you a story. The pointer cones are telling you which side of the cone to go on. This cone saying stay to the right or stay to the left if you guys are on the other side. Go around it that way. Questions about course working, anything else that we can give? Yes?
When the cone does go out, we have to run out and there's a penalty. Do we have to keep track of the car, or just that cone itself?
Just the cone itself. The guy calling in, someone will have a radio there. It's their job to call the car and everything else. Yeah, if you see it going by, but you're more focused on getting that cone up. Don't worry about which car did it if you didn't see it. You know, it's going to be their job to actually track it. Yes?
The penalty person with the radio will not be us, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
We're not going to do that.
We're just like here.
Here. The radio should not be running, so you need to make sure they see that cone that you're running out to pick up and they call it in.
Normally that's the most experienced person out there, is the person with the radio. They know what's going on. If you have any questions, they'll be able to help you too.
And you guys are going to have multiple people at each station, because there are certain sections of the course that people are going to be wiping out 5 cones at a time. So you guys, there's going to be 3 guys running out as fast as they can to set that whole wall back up. You have to be quick. Now work together, watch each other's backs. If you see a car coming and somebody's running out, just yell at them, get out of the way.
The worst thing that's going to happen if you don't set up a cone, they'll stop, honk, wave their hand, they'll get a rerun. They're going to thank you for it most of the time.
So not just the turns, the entire wall is marked with the squares? Okay,
yes,
cool.
every cone.
All the cones that need to stand have a square.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You'll have a spot.
Yep.
Other questions?
Do we need to carry the chalk out with us if we're going to set up a cone in case it gets...
It's all chalked. It should be fine. Unless it starts to rain, then it might wash away.
We'll get to there when we get there.
When you guys go out there, make sure you look around your section, because these marks are pretty hard to see, especially when you only have about a couple seconds to put it back. So make sure you're very familiar with your section, because if they wipe out an entire wall, you got to run out and you got to know where it goes. So when you run out, pick up the cone and look around you as fast as you can, drop the cone in that box and run back.
Are there going to be separate people being marshals, like with a flag?
Yes, there will be one person at each station that has a flag and a radio. Okay. So they're watching your backs too. If they see something wrong, if there's a car coming, they're going to stop that car so they don't hit you if you don't get out of the way.
Yep.
So,
Great questions. Anything else?
Can I get an instructor?
Yes.
all right, so the deal with the instructors, put your flashers on in grid if you need help. Please do not hesitate to ask for help. If you guys are going off course, we want you to get a time. We don't want to see 4 runs that don't count. So we usually would suggest maybe try out that first run by yourself just to see if you can get through it. If you don't feel like you remember the course, fine. Ask us, we'll help you out for that first run, or we can sit with you for all 4 runs. We want to make sure you guys are safe, you have fun, you get a time, and you guys know what you're doing and you're comfortable. We will be there to help you guys out. Anything else?
Didn't touch on getting from the grid to start to finish.
So you guys should all be parked in your grid spot. There will be a grid worker that will tell you when to go up to start. There should be about 4 or 5 cars always at start. So when you guys pull out of your grid spot, go in between these cone walls, go all the way up through this grass strip, all the way up to the start line. And then there will be a starter that will bring you up to that start line.
In grid, you're pretty much walking speed. It was probably announced earlier, I didn't hear it, but when you're in this area, it's walking speed. If you want to get on our bad sides, go peeling out, and it's not no rush. It's not a race until you cross those cones at the front.
Especially for leaving too, because I saw there were cops out there.
There are cops everywhere.
They like to
waiting.
watch us do this, so be careful too.
So we're going to run 4
4 runs per person.
Not 4 in a row.
In a row, you have
They're broken up.
You have some time.
You'll get back in your spot. The people after you will run, the people before you will run again, then it'll be your second time.
You'll have a good 10-15 minutes between runs.
Okay, cool.
Get to know the people around your car too. I mean, it's a social thing, and if you have any questions, they'll be able to help most of the times as much as we can.
We're running in the afternoon. Should we be on the grid now, or can we stay
No,
in Paddock?
afternoon is like a whole separate, almost a separate event. Same deal. We just do check-in, registration, tech, all this stuff happens again. All of it happens again, so it's a whole nother deal. So if you're running afternoon, you don't have to worry about anything for a while.
It's not like between heats. Heat A to Heat B.
We might be switching on the fly. Sometimes if we have a lot of people, we switch on the fly. We don't stop the event. So heat 1 will run, they'll finish, and then heat 2 is going to start immediately. So if you drove heat 1 and then you're working, you got to park your car, get your work assignment, and relieve the workers out
You said
there.
walking speed though, right?
Yeah.
Or are we running to our station?
You
or
can
we-
run
no.
run to your station because cars are going to be running.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vehicles will walk. If you need to hustle somewhere, you're allowed to run.
Okay, we can run.
But
I'm not sure.
also note where cars would be driving. So if like
You
you're
don't
crossing
get-
this
Your
area,
ass doesn't become a cone.
Yeah.
We might have a break in between heats.
All right.
It depends on how fast we're going. So we might stop.
we
So-
got to send you if you're working. The line's done. If you're working first
go up
heat,
there.
go up there. If not, go to your car. If you're in, I guess third heat. Third heat works first.
Would it have changed since we read?